This is the Big O Show. 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 This
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that, the two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you can get some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
There's a new sheriff in town at Toyota of Hollywood. Cash in your chips and get a great deal on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not 24,000, 17,975. Giddy up to the bank and get 2.99% financing on our most popular models. So mosey on down to our western town at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take up to $10,000 off a 2024 Acura during our 16th anniversary sale.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Okay, there we go. Now the second time around, we're good. We're ready to go. We're locked and loaded. Yes, sir. All right, hold on. Get a little Mucinex. This, by the way, is the best for your throat. Right there. I don't know if you guys can get this or whatever, but if you ever have a sore throat, this is, I don't know, man. But it's got like 500 shots of it. I think I'm about halfway. I've been using it for a while. Every time I have a sore throat, man, I went 3 hours yesterday. So it wasn't, thank you. Thank you, Mucinex, sore throat and pain relief, Insta-Soothe, alcohol-free. So there you go. Really good shit. Anyway, welcome aboard. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. We are locked and loaded. We've got a couple guests for you today.
You know how it is, man. We pushed back Furones from yesterday because there was nothing to talk about. But now he's got a day of practice under him. So we'll bring him on today, and then we'll bring him on Friday after he's been able to watch the last couple of days of the OTAs, and we'll get a little bit more. Keith Pompey is going to join us. I've known Keith for many, many years now, and he's been covering the Sixers on a daily basis. And he wrote a story that's kind of rocking the Heat world, that the Sixers are ready to make a move for Jimmy Butler and give him that extension. So I think this is great freaking news. The question is, what are the Heat going to do? And we'll talk to Keith Pompey about that at 11:30. So he'll join us, and we'll have a little fun with Keith. And we'll get his thoughts on the Sixers and Jimmy Butler, because he wrote the article that they're, the whole Paul George thing, and then Jimmy Butler and all that. And so, we'll see what the thoughts are, in Philadelphia, which is really cool. So we've got that to talk about. Bitcoin, where are we at with Bitcoin? We are holding strong, right around 67,800. Right now, just made a move to 800. Was at 700. I looked at it and went to 800. So holding strong. It's funny how the all-time high is now like the floor. It's pretty cool. It's actually very productive to be able to do it that way. Remember, many ways to contribute to the program. You can visit our amazing sponsors like Toyota of Hollywood, or Caneswear, or Cutter's Edge Pro. Of course, you can make a donation, Cash App, or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App, or Venmo. And you can also make a Bitcoin donation. Ocala Joe already made a donation today. I see it here on Cash App. Thank you, Ocala Joe. Very nice of you, sir. Again, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which you guys know I love me some Bitcoin donation. And of course, you can visit our merchandise store, which, there you go. It is not for the blind ass fan. So we've got all kinds of shirts. Some of you, by the way, Lisa told me she got her shirt yesterday. So some of you are already getting your first orders. By the way, we got halfway through connecting the PayPal stuff. Not all the way yet. We're still trying to. We are dumb people. That's all I can tell you. We're just like, it's really confusing shit, man. And you know what? The funny part is, some of you out there would do it like in 2 seconds. But a dumbass like me is having trouble figuring it out. So those of you, like Ocala Joe, by the way, is one of the PayPal ones, because I know the name. We are still trying to finalize the PayPal stuff so we can finish those. We don't have all the merchandise anyways. I think I get it all by tomorrow. I think I might get most of the merchandise, and I can start sending out the other wave of stuff. So I'm trying to finalize the PayPal thing. So if you made an order through PayPal, you gotta, again, I'm not very smart, so I got to figure this thing out. So hopefully we'll have it done by today, and the Shopify people and PayPal and all that can help us finalize the crap. I'm telling, all this stuff is new because it's me and my wife doing all the work. So you'll know. So it's not like hey man, listen, man, we're blue collar people. We got to do things ourselves. I don't have some big corporation. I don't have all that behind me. You know what I'm saying? So this is as mom and pop as it gets. So I appreciate those of you supporting us. And thank you all. And one guy was asking me for an update, and I gave him the brutal honesty of what was going on. And you guys know exactly what's going on. I don't know if he listened or whatever, but it's one thing I've learned about doing this show over the years is I've lost touch with a lot of people, man. And some of them are even on Twitter. It's funny because yesterday I was talking to a guy that has followed our show for a long time, dude, like 20 years. Like he was constantly going to our appearances and all that. And then I see him on Twitter, right? And so I assume that he listens to the show, right? So yesterday I noticed that he's got like this TUA like hate. Like he's not a TUA believer, and he comes up with a lot of the stupid shit that some other people are coming up with, like blaming everything on TUA. Well, he needs to come up in big games. The Dolphins haven't come up in big games for 45 years. You think it's a TUA problem? I must have missed out on that. You know what I'm saying? I love how, it's the whole team that's got to win. TUA's got to do his part. So does everybody else, but it's a team thing. It's kind of why, we didn't win either with Marino. You know what I'm saying? So there's a reason. But anyway, so then he DMs me and he goes, well, look, man, I was on this plane with this guy and he told me that, Flores was wrongly fired and that he wanted Justin Herbert. And so right there and then, what do you think I thought of? Wow, I thought this guy was a listener of our show. And I'm like, yo, dude, that is like, you couldn't be more off. I told him, bro, I told him, I can tell you, you don't listen to my show anymore, do you? And you know what it is? The problem that I've learned is old people like my age and older. I lost all those people, most of them. I lost most of the older people because they don't know how to work YouTube. They don't know how to work podcasting. They don't know how to do an iTunes or a Spotify or a Stitcher. They have no idea how to find a podcast, turn it on, whatever it is. And I go to him, dude, you clearly don't listen to the show anymore, right? Because you wouldn't tell me this if you listened to my show. You wouldn't tell me that he wanted Justin Herbert because that's the stupidest thing in the world. You're misinformed. You know what I mean? And so he admitted to me, he goes, no, man, I have trouble with podcasting and all that. And I go, okay, no problem, dude. That's cool. But I'm just want you to know that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And if you're listening to people like that, that's the problem in our world. You're misinformed, bro. And then he mentioned somebody on QAM who there's nobody on QAM that has any insight on the Dolphins. There's a couple guys that know their football. I'm sure that Joe Rose and Channing Crowder know their football, but they have no insight on the team. They have nobody in the building. None. They don't have any insight on the building. That I can tell you. You know what I mean? So, like, nobody on QM has any insight. But he mentioned somebody that was on QM. I'm not going to mention who. But, but I'll generalize and tell you that they don't break any news in that station. Nobody has any insight on that station. Ever. Nothing. So, it just, I've realized that doing this show, man, I have lost touch with so many people. It's not even funny. And this guy's just wailing on, and I'm like, wow, dude, you really don't listen to our show. Like, you would have found out Flo was getting fired before Flo even knew he was getting fired. It's like you would have found out about Odell Beckham before anybody else. I'm like, you don't listen to our show. He's like, no, man, I have trouble with the whole podcasting. There's I would suggest to all of you out there that instead of taking an ignorant stance on shit, well, no, I have trouble with this. No, why don't you try it? You know what I mean? For you old farts out there, because I'm an old fart, so I can call you all of you out there old farts. Take the time to learn how to download something and how to use a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to get modernized. Learn how to use your phone. Learn how to tweet. Learn, so are you just going to get old and get stupid and get stiff and not, like, adjust to what's going on around the world? I don't understand that part. I've never been that guy. I try to adjust with the times. You know what I mean? Is it easy? No, of course not. But you gotta attack it, right? Look at this whole merchandise shit. It's not my. This isn't my cup of tea. But I'm going to attack it. I'm going to try to overcome it. You know, and I will. We'll figure out the last little part of the PayPal, and everything will go smoothly, and we'll get all of the rest of our merchandise this week, and we'll mail out everything, and people will be happy. So, you know, but it's funny, man. It really is. We have a lot of, that's why I tell you, smash the hell out of the like button. You know, if you can, spread the word, help old people. Okay. Help us old farts learn how to work. You know, you younger people out there, help old farts how to download podcasts. Teach them so they're not walking around with stupid information in their heads. And the worst part is that dude now is spewing that misinformation to other people who are misinformed. And this is the problem in our society. I point it out all the time, bro. All the time. This guy's walking around saying that Flo wanted Herbert because some idiot on a plane told him. He sent me this long DM, and about a third of the way, when I read, well, you know, he told me that Flo wanted Herbert, I stopped reading. And I sent him a text. I go, I stopped reading right where you said Herbert. I go, once I saw that, I knew you have no idea what you're talking about. You're listening to people who are misinformed, and I'm telling you the real information. And he still had trouble believing that. And that's what we have in this world. You know, it's like, okay, go ahead and listen to people that have no information and are constantly misinformed, but go ahead and do it. You know, it sucks. It sucks. That's the one thing that, you know, this whole transition of digital, it's lost a lot of people because the old farts still have to go to radio because that's all they know. You know, younger people, less of them are listening to radio. They're more here on YouTube and on podcasts and all that. They get it. They understand where we're going. But old people, man, they are intimidated. And I ran into an old misinformed fart yesterday. You know? So it's a shame. It really is. It really is a shame to see how badly misinformed some people are still walking around. But what are you going to do? Steve Chapman is number one, I see. Jamie Zoria out in San Jose, reminding everybody to smash that like button. Got over 116 watching, 47 on the likes. Let's go. Let's take it to 100 already. Let's spread the word. Crypto Fins, Cosa Nostra, Captain Saki. J-Town is in. It's a great win for the Panthers last night. A must win. Ray Sosa, NorCal is in Martinez, California. Thank you for the love, sir. Andrew Harris, Giovanni Ray. Yeah, Rangers are tough, bro. Definitely. But it's really their goalie. It's really all about shit stinking. If it isn't for shit stinking, come on, dude. Look, yesterday, Bob had 21 saves. Shit stinking had 37. We saw them pepper him, and they do it all the time. The problem is he's been phenomenal. There is no doubt that the Panthers are the better team. The problem that they're having is that they need to score enough goals to kind of finish them off. That's all. You got to finish them off with the effort. Clearly, you're the better team, but you got to score more goals. Hockey's funny like that, man. The ultimate equalizer is a hot goalie. In the mid-90s, a lot of you weren't around for it or you were too young. The Panthers sucked offensively. They couldn't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse. Okay? They couldn't. But it was Beezer on his head saving your ass constantly. Most of you don't know because that was 30 years ago already. But that's kind of what happened 28 years ago. Beezer saved their asses and got them all the way to the cup. And then Colorado was just way too talented, loaded with offensive stars. And Miami or Florida did not have the offense to ever stay with most teams. Now you're asking, Beezer, like, can you do us a favor and like blank out the Avalanche in the entire series? Don't let them score at all. Then maybe we have a shot. That's different now. All right, let's do it. Let's talk a little football with David Furones on our Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welt and Rheaume has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. How you feeling, dude? Feeling good?
Yeah, doing well. Oh, I see Ira went. There we go. Now we got the right one. Yeah, feeling good after the Panthers even up the series 2-2. Got to check out an OTA yesterday, so and minicamp next week. Everything's good.
Yeah. Overall, what did you health-wise? What did you notice first and foremost on the team? Some of the guys like Ezukama, you saw him look good last week. Does he continue to look good? Those kind of things.
Yeah. Ezukama had another good OTA. He got a deep ball. Also had a touchdown in red zone drills, 7-on-7. So good work from him. He continues to. After we highlighted him as one of the standouts from the first one, so he kept it up. And then Cam Smith, who I wrote about yesterday, and how he didn't take the shot at Vic Fangio the same way Javon Holland did, even though, he probably might be the guy with most reason maybe to take a shot if he wanted to, but he took the high road there. But he was progressing because he was on he was working out on the side that first OTA that we saw last week, and then now he was involved in team drills. So stuff during OTAs is undisclosed. So whatever he was dealing with, if he was dealing with something minor, getting over that. And then you saw him a little bit in team drill. So that was good to see. A lot of the same guys that were not present for the first one, weren't there. I mean, TUA was back, obviously. But like Zach Sealer was back, another guy there. So, but a lot of the other ones, Teron Armstead, the trio of wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Odell Beckham Jr. not there. Instead of Raheem Mostert, he was there. It was Devon Achane we didn't see. So, maybe guys going in and out as far as OTA participation. A lot of those aren't because of injuries or anything, but just, maybe lengthening out how much they participate or whether they do or do not on certain sessions.
Did you guys get into any of the NFLPA stuff about trying to renegotiate the off seasons and eliminate some of these OTAs and report earlier to training camp and those kind of things? Have you guys talked to the players about that yet?
Yeah, not so much the players. It was brought up to McDaniel yesterday. And he kind of talked around it a little bit, but, did mention how it's going to be a longer season. We could be on the horizon, on the verge of having the longest season ever. So interesting to go that route, maybe try to lengthen training camp. And then sort of instead of going, all right, in and out, you do your off-season workouts, you do your OTAs and mini camp, then you take a break, and then you come back and try to ramp it back up. Just having a longer sort of training camp, have those OTAs and mini camp go into the training camp. It'd be interesting. Whatever the science says, I guess, would be best for the players in those cases.
I found it odd, to be quite honest, because, and maybe this is something like, we got into Ezukama before last week that I told you the real football talk is not whether Tua or any of these veteran guys are here or not in a stupid OTA that doesn't do anything whatsoever. It's more about the injured guys, the guys that, hey, are they back on the field? Do they look good as Ukama, like all that. To me, the storyline out of all of that is, why would players want to eliminate the OTAs and eliminate your dead summer? Because if you're now going to, as the story says, that Tom Pelissero wrote, that you're going to report in late June or early July, the players that are parents, okay, so you're working during most of the school year, and you're OTAing during the school year. Now you're off during the summer in June and most of July, where you can be with your kids. Now you're going to eliminate the OTAs in times when the kids are still in school. Instead, you're going to add them to the summer, and you're going to take the parent out of the mix in the summer. So I'm thinking a Raheem Mostert. What does that do? What does that do for Tua? What does that do for the fathers? That, like, dude, the June and the July is the time you actually get to spend with your kids and your family overall. A mini camp now in May doesn't affect you really because your kids are in school right now. So it kind of works out for you. I think you kind of screw the family over by doing this. So I'm really interested in seeing if you guys write a story about something like that, because to me, that would be the real storyline in all of this, that, you're kind of eliminating the family time for some of these guys in the summer. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, when you started reeling off players and as fathers, I thought you were going to go the Tyreek Hill route. I thought you were going to get him named Tyreek Hill.
Oh, no, but he's got enough troubles already. Like that's a Chris Greer special. That's a low hanging fruit. That's too easy. You know what I'm saying? That's just,
I was just ready for it. I was just ready, mentally preparing that you were about to mention him.
He's got 5 baby mamas. He can't even be with his kids as it is. I mean, anyone that has a whole bunch of kids with a whole bunch of women, there's no way you can be a good father to all the kids. It's impossible, because you can't be everywhere, unfortunately. But that's I'm not even worried about that. I'm worried about, like, the real family people. I'm talking about the real family people that's got to bother them a little bit. Like, I don't know if I want this. I kind of like what we're doing. So I'm very interested to see what the players say about that, because I was thinking about that. I'm going, you guys are eliminating the summers for these guys, and some of them wives are going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed, bro. They got to carry the load of the kids the entire time and the summer now. And so they don't have the husband to help out on. I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that.
That's one aspect to this dynamic. And then also now we're seeing how many veterans don't attend the voluntary OTA sessions. And then do you make those early training camp sessions part of the mandatory program? Do you just eliminate anything that's voluntary, because then they do they or do they not have that option for those sessions that are turning into those voluntary OTAs now becoming technically training camps? So how would you go about that?
Let me tell you something. Here's my forecast for this. If you're going to eliminate them throughout the year, where they can see your conditioning mentally, physically, all throughout the year, they're monitoring you. So if they can't monitor you during a long stretch of time, and then you're going to show up right, weeks before your regular training camp to start, they will all be mandatory, because they will need to see you to get you into shape. Now, the other thing on the flip side, if I'm the NFL, I also don't want this, not only because it's bad because you're eliminating the family part of it in the summer, but I think you're better off doing all the things you're doing because players are busy throughout the entire offseason. And so you could keep an eye on them. The last thing you want is some of these morons to have too much time on their hands. That's the problem with NFL players. But it works out so beautifully because throughout the early part of the offseason, you've got all those mini camps keeping you busy. And then when you get to the summer, your family keeps you busy for a lot of guys. A couple of the single guys, well, what are you going to do? But that dead time is usually for that month. The NFL is super nervous because there's usually a couple of knuckleheads that get in trouble at that time. You know what I'm saying? So the idea of what they created throughout the offseason that kind of, keeps players on and off, but busy throughout the offseason, it's kind of good for them because too much time on their hands ends up being bad for, less than 5% of your roster. It's a small percentage, but as you know, David, there's always a couple of knuckleheads in every locker room, every single one.
Yeah. And I think the veterans that do stay away from some of the voluntary workouts, the teams already know that they're doing what they need to do on their end. That, like Tua, he misses some sessions, but the Dolphins know, Mike McDaniel knows, he's communicating with him that he's working with John Beck, whom Mike McDaniel knows from that 2011 season in Washington, which he pointed out just yesterday. A little connection there between now Mike McDaniel, Tua, and John Beck working together. That Tua is working on his own, on his slimming down, on his body. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're doing their own thing. Other guys have done this long enough where they know what they need to do in the offseason. They know their body. They understand themselves to be able to be prepared for that upcoming season. So some of the younger guys, maybe like a rookie that comes in and maybe hits that rookie wall at some point in that season, and then he just wants to take time off that whole offseason. You don't know how he's going to respond once he has several months in a row. Maybe he ends up in reports out of shape once he does get back. So yeah, that would be one interesting thing, is that the monitoring would be key, because you need to make sure some of those guys that maybe haven't been through it, that they're staying on top of what they need to do to stay prepared for the upcoming season.
So how's the slimmer Tua looking?
Good, man. It was still strong, which is a key, because he built up that strength last offseason. So it's shedding fat while he's still maintaining that strength. So like even how Mike McDaniel said yesterday, last year when he put on the weight, it wasn't about, okay, let me just be a heavier target so that
it's armor.
Right, he's stronger. It's stronger. It's more so the strength aspect. So still that, and then now adding a more efficient throwing motion, gets the ball out quicker, more efficient with that his mechanics, and that hip twitch, able to generate a little more force on his throws. And I think a couple of deep balls that he threw just yesterday really exhibited that. Granted, it's throws that he's been able to make in the past, but I think he was a little more efficient with the motion doing it, and then hitting that deep ball. The Dolphins put out the video of it. That was the last throw of practice, is a deep ball to Taj Washington, the 7th round rookie. He also had another one in that 7-on-7 session to Eric Ezukanma, showing again, hitting a player in stride with the accuracy, putting the ball right in the perfect spot when River Craycraft was coming across the middle on a crosser, and it was just open field in front of him because Tua put it in the right spot and led him the right way. And then an efficient red zone 7-on-7 session as well. Tua didn't take any snaps that we saw in 11-on-11, but two really good 7-on-7 sessions from him.
Yeah, perfect ball placement. I mean, the things that Ryan Tannehill can do. Okay. All right. No, that was a hell of a suggestion there. Let's sign Ryan Tannehill, the guy that is inaccurate, the guy that doesn't know ball. Yeah, that's the perfect guy for this offense. Okay. Anyway, so by the way, the Taj Washington kid, the Malik Washington kid, all those kind of guys, talk to me about their speed. What do you see from them? Because I know they're slot guys, but what do you see from them physically when it comes to their speed?
Yeah, just straight speed-wise, I would give Taj Washington the edge right now. I mean, seeing him get open deep for that deep ball just last practice. Malik Washington, I think, still picking some things up, but first OTA, I did see him extend very nicely on a ball that was high, and that was the one that Tua wasn't there, so it wasn't him throwing it. It was one of the backups, but he has a good short area quickness, so able to get open. I think more kind of like traditional slot, true slot, and then And yeah, it was even at his size. It was good to see that a throw that was kind of going over his head in one instance, he went up and got it. So he can really extend that body even as limited as he is as far as range that he naturally possesses. He kind of makes up for it with the ability to extend.
So, anybody else stand out to you on the wide receiver side?
On the wide receiver side, let's see. So we named the Washington guy. I mean, definitely Eric Ezukanma. River, we know he made that big play. And then aside from that, I mean, I guess you're missing the big three there that the Dolphins have now.
I'm not worried about those guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of want to see what's going on with the tight ends, what's going on with the third, fourth, fifth wide receivers. I know Odell is really your third, but I'm saying the other guys that could rotate in there as the three, because that's really what I'm looking at football-wise. I'm not really worried so much. Tight end-wise, what have we seen?
Yeah, tight ends. So we haven't seen Jonnu Smith out there, but I think what you're getting once he does rejoin. But Durham Smythe did have a touchdown in red zone 7-on-7. I think it might have been the first play. I think it was the first play from that early session with Tua. So good to see that. Of course, we know tight ends did not have a touchdown last year for the Dolphins. The Dolphins were the only team that didn't have a tight end touchdown, and Durham Smythe was one of those. Known, of course, more for his inline blocking. So, good to see that. And Tanner Connor, he went down the seam for one. So, maybe a little bit of a resurgence. He had a strong training camp when he was an undrafted rookie back ahead of the now that would be the 22 season. So, got hurt a little bit, even though he had so many gains in the weight room going into last season, 23. But, and by the way, we just have breaking news. I see Adam Schefter tweeting Don Reisner is going with the Vikings. Yeah.
Don Reisner going with the Vikings?
There we go.
But wait a minute. I thought he should come to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute. I he was.
I knew you'd love that.
Yeah, no, I know, bro. It's just it's just like you constantly put out information, and then they kind of like keep putting stuff out there, and it's like, yo, bro, do you not see the writing on the wall? He's been. This is the third time he's available, and this is the third time they say we're not interested. You guys can write the articles if you want and keep talking about being interested, but we're not. They don't even bring him in for an interview, bro. Dalton Reisner's never been brought in for a conversation. And yet we have people out there in the media that keep writing Dalton Reisner with the Dolphins. While you were gone, I was saying that they don't even bring him in for an interview.
I think they pick up the audio. I think I still had the audio, even if my side was a little.
We weren't able to see it, but it's just funny to me on that. All right, so the other football question that I have for you is Nick Needham. Because it's going to roll into something else, because I want to kind of put the brakes already on some of our media brethren out there. Okay, because you get excited about Jalen Phillips and Chubb because you see him walking around at a game, or because they put up a video of him doing some stupid, rehab thing, and then you watch him in camp and you see a limp, and it's like, first the writing is, well, maybe they can come back early. Oh, no, they've got a limp and this, that. Brother, listen, neither one of these guys is going to be themselves this year. Not in week 1, not in week 5, not in week 10. And I even doubt that they're going to be themselves in week 17. Could they be a little better and get closer? Sure. Are they going to be themselves? No, they won't be themselves till 2025. Okay. So the question I have for you is, Nick Needham wasn't going to be himself when he got back. So where is Nick Needham? Where is some of these corners that you're watching against these receivers? Because I don't give a shit about linebackers and defensive linemen and O-linemen right now. They've got no pads. They're not really hitting. I really can't get a good feel for people like that. But for the receivers, for the corners, for the quarterback, and the timing and the throws and that kind of stuff, I could get at least a little something out of there. So corner-wise, while we're watching Taj Washington catch deep ones and Ezukanma and all that, What are we seeing on the corner side? Guys like Nick Needham that needed to come back from an Achilles surgery 2 years ago. He should be himself now. This is the year that if you're going to get Nick Needham back to being himself, maybe this is it. What do we see from the corners right now?
Yeah, Nick Needham cross-training right now, so he's adding on a little bit more of safety, which he has done in the past. 2021, he got incorporated a little bit into that due to some injuries. He ended up getting thrown into some action at safety, and that was kind of the first time safety and in the nickel. As I'm just continuing to talk, I hope you've been my connection stable. All right, you got me.
Right.
So yeah, he added on a little bit more of that last year, but that was only in a break in case of emergency situation as far as safety, and it didn't really need to go that route. He worked some with the safeties, but now adding it on more to that slate. So really being a versatile DB where he can do both. And he's looked all right so far. And it was good to see Cam Smith, of course, get back into some team drills. So you expect a big season out of him. You haven't seen the starters, Jalen Ramsey, Kendall Fuller. They haven't been around.
I don't care. I don't care about Kendall Fuller, and I don't care about Jalen Ramsey. I care about Nick Needham. I care about Kader Kohu. I care about Storm Duck. I care about. I want to know about the guys that are there working right now. Those young guys, all those other guys. I don't care about the established veterans, bro. I'm talking about those young guys that you're watching right now. Any of these young corners, safeties standing out to you at all?
Yeah, I mean, Storm Duck, for one, because he wasn't really targeted much at the last OTA, so solid from him. The one where Taj Washington won on a deep ball, that was against Isaiah Johnson, another one of the undrafted guys, the one out of Syracuse, so he got beat on that one. 6'3", though, so impressive size, but you can see kind of limited with his closing speed on that play. So Storm Duck, that's been impressive. Ethan Bonner, another one. He took some steps late last season, and you saw how much he played. Actually, yeah, he got like 11 snaps in that playoff game in Kansas City. So building on that, and Needham just another year removed from that Achilles injury. I think you're seeing him more natural with his movement, just trusting his legs a little bit more now.
Any breakups from any of these guys? Anything you saw stand out? Because I haven't seen a lot of you guys write anything about making a nice play. Yeah,
no, I mean, weren't too many breakups. There was one on the near side where I couldn't really tell if it was broken up or if Julian Hill, the tight end, just had it go off his hands. It was tight coverage, and there were a lot of bodies on the sideline near it. But, yeah, I mean, I think the ones that Tua was throwing, it was a lot of, like, put the ball where only the receiver can get it. I know the especially in the red zone drills, Jaquan Burton, the FAU wide receiver, he actually had a drop down there, that one that went off his hands as he shook free a little bit. And Mike White and Skylar Thompson, they kind of had some dump offs once they didn't have that first read there. So kind of making safer throws and avoiding a lot of opportunities for the DBs to break up passes. So actually last session, you didn't see too much of that.
All right. What do you got going on this Sentinel so folks can check you out?
Yeah, we already have stories up from yesterday. Everything Mike McDaniel said, the updates with Tua and his throwing motion, practice report from yesterday, and then also writing Cam Smith, how he actually, appreciated that rookie season, how he was able to learn. So I have a story up on that. And I'll still be writing about Liam Eichenberg this offseason. He's working in at center while Aaron Brewer kind of working himself into going into the team reps. He expects to be at guard later on. And then also I'll be writing.
The starter, bro. He'll be the starter. That's what I've told everybody from the get-go. He's going to be your right guard. Win will be your left guard. And then that way Eichenberg is in there the entire time with Brewer. One, he helps Brewer early on with the calls. Two, he's already in the game. So if something happens to Brewer, he moves over right away. and then you'll bring on Cotton or whoever else is battling for the backup jobs, at guard. But that keeps Eichenreich in the game. And at the same time, if something, God forbid, happens to Brewer, he just moves over and he's already in the groove. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's comfortable because he's confident because he's played the position. As long as he's healthy, I think he's headed for a good season, dude. I think he's headed to shock us like Austin Jackson did if he stays healthy. I really do.
I think you combine Liam Eichenberg there with 1997 World Series champion Jim Eisenreich.
Yes.
That's what you're doing there. Yes. Levon Hernandez, by the way, banging the drum at the Florida Panthers game.
Yes.
That was cool. He doesn't age. He looks the same.
I can write. Yes.
Eisenreich.
Eisenreich used to call him Muecas.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
He'd have Muecas all the time. You'd be talking to him and he'd be doing all those face gestures.
Well, and Liam Eichenberg.
Like favorite pitcher, Steve Carlton from the Phillies. Way old. You I don't even know if I've heard of the name. But yeah, he would be on the mound making all kinds of faces too.
Yeah. Well, Steve Carlton was from Miami, right? Or am I thinking of someone
No,
else?
I think you're thinking of Charlie Huff.
Well, I know Charlie Huff, but let's see. All right, once I get off, I'm gonna look up Steve Carlton to see.
Steve Carlton, a Miami guy?
Maybe I'm completely off, but I thought maybe.
No, hey, hold on, bro. You might be right. You never know. You could be right, bro. Let's see. I love to learn things. Yeah. Miami, Florida, born December 22nd, 1944. There you go. I didn't even know my favorite pitcher of all time, Stephen Norman Carlton, was born in Miami, Florida.
Yeah. I wonder if he pitched at a local high school. I'm not sure. But I thought.
God, where would it be? Probably down in the personal part, right? God, legacy, personal life. Doesn't say anything there. I'd have to look it up. Somebody on the chat board will have some information that will help us.
Who would know? Larry Bluestein would know that.
Yes. Yes, it would be Larry Bluestein, the only guy.
He went to North Miami Senior High School.
Oh, yeah?
He's a fucking stingeree?
Yeah,
and he pitched at Miami-Dade College.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, shit, he's a Miami High stingeree like my wife. Wow. Wait a minute. No, he attended North Miami High School playing baseball at first. Carlton had no plans beyond high school and showed little interest in his studies. As a senior, Carlton quit basketball to concentrate on pitching. He was with his teammates in high school, and Kurt whatever and his teammate Richie whatever defeated Charlie Huff 1-0 in the playoffs under coach Jack Clark Milich, who was later the victim of a murder. And then after high school, Carlton played baseball at Miami-Dade College North, where he pitched relief on a strong team under coach Dennis Marineri. In 1963, he was a student at Miami-Dade when he signed with the Cardinals. So he went to North Miami High, not Miami High. North Miami High. And he played in Dade North.
Look at that.
That must have got cut off. I said North Miami High School.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay. I only picked up Miami High. I was like, whoa, dude, really? Wow. Stingeree.
Look at that. We learn something new every day.
Every day. That's my favorite pitch too. That was my team growing up, bro. The Phillies with Trujillo and Rose, and Mike Schmidt is my favorite player of all time, bro. I mean, that was my team, man. God, that was good. Tony Perez, all those. Oh man, those were the days. Those were the days with Bob Boone behind the plate. Anyway, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. What do you got going in the Sun Sentinel before you get out of here?
Yeah, the Liam Eichenberg thing. That's how we got there. Writing about Nick Needham is also coming up. By the way, Eichenberg, he said he's benefited from working at center, that he feels he'll be a better guard because of that. So, yeah.
You know why? You know why he tells you that, right? Because playing center is harder than guard because you got to play with the football. And the decisions you're making at guard, you have to make at center, but you've got to snap the ball first before you get to the decisions that you have to make. And so if you're fast enough to deliver the football and make the blocks, but when you move over to guard, you're like, bro, this is cake. I was making the calls, making the snap, and having a block. Now I don't have to make the call. I don't have to snap, and I just got a block. That's why he tells you that. It's all. You know what I'm saying? But get into the personal shit. If their summers are disappearing, I'd love to hear from the family guys because I think this will be a problem around the league. I really do. Okay?
That'll be good to start asking players, asking around a minicamp.
Yeah. All right, baby. Enjoy the football. We'll talk later. Welt and Rayom, baby. Jeff Welt, Daniel Rayom. They are the best in the business. 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, and hurricane season is days away. June 1st, it starts to November 30th. You need this phone number, save it on the cell phone because God forbid you have any water damage, any hurricane damage, any kind of damage. You don't want to call the insurance companies because they love talking to you and taking advantage of us. No. You want to call Welton Rayom because they have their own adjusters, and then they'll call the insurance company and handle everything for you so it's stress-free. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. Flores got Reisner. Flores coaches defense. Cap for life, bro. I can count on you for pure fucking stupidity, like on a consistent basis. Did Dalton Reisner play for the Patriots or something? Did he play for the Dolphins? Why would he have any connection? And he's on offense. And the other guy is the defensive coordinator. Anyway, so that's just as stupid as the people that write that the Dolphins want Dalton Reisner when they never wanted Dalton Reisner. They never called him. They never brought him in for an interview. They never even were interested because they don't even think he's actually a good fit for them. But what do you mean? What are you going to do, right? Let's stay away from the actual facts. Anyway, Big O, how can we win the Super Bowl without Reisner, Landry, and Cook? You know what, chat? That's a great point. Oh, and by the way, they got to have Ryan Tannehill as the backup, just in case, right? If something happens to Tua, you need Ryan to come off the bench and win it all for you. So these are good points on your part there, Chad. I would just add Tannehill to the mix. But you're right. Without Dalton Reisner, without Jarvis Landry and Dalvin Cook, I don't know. And Tannehill, I don't know how the Dolphins can win a title. Don't know. Have no idea. And Calais Campbell also. Although, you know what? I don't mind the Calais Campbell suggestion. That one's not a bad suggestion. Dude 67, that, the media some of my media brethren come up with some really stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? And not enough of us call each other out. That's really the problem here. Except for on this show, I'll call any mofo out. If you say something stupid, I'm going to tell you it's stupid personally, right in your face. And I'll say it on the air, and I'll call you out on social media too. Okay? We'll do all of it. I have fun. I have no problem with that. I'll call any of my media brethren out right to their faces or right here on the show because I've done it many, 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 many times over. Okay? And that's what we need to do. Call people out for for the stupid shit that they say. Like Dalvin Cook and like Dalton Reisner and like Ryan Tannehill. When you say stupid shit, you need to be called out for it. Okay? That's how, when you're on this show, and whether you're an insider or whatever, you're not going to get away with it because I'm not going to allow you to get away with it, as you all know when we've had all the insiders on. Okay? I will trip them up if they need to get tripped up. That's just the way it goes. A lot of bad information out there, man. A lot of bad information. Good morning, and Finn's fan. Yo, the shirts are dope. Very quality screen printing. Also, thanks for the gift. I highly recommend y'all get one. Thank you. Now, Woodson, you got a gift because you were one of the you were one of the first. Not everybody's going to get the gift. I don't have gifts for everybody, but you are welcome, Woodson. Thank you for supporting us. I appreciate you, sir. That is very kind. And yes, 3A Graphics does an awesome job. John Rigoni, by the way, he's our graphics designer. So if you need some graphic designs, maybe whatever it is, from business cards to shirts to whatever it is that you need to create a logo, John can do it for you. They do everything there: logos, business identity, business materials, social media, merchandising and packing, trade show, event materials. They do it all. So please reach out to my man, John Rigoni. Not only is he a listener, a supporter of our platform for many years, but he's also a partner on the platform. So John Rigoni, excellent work by you, sir. We are working on a new Bitcoin shirt, but one that's a little bit more elaborate, like all over. So, we can do those kind of things, have some fun with that. Okay. Let's see. I'm a product of the local beat writers from you. All right. I learned this by watching. Well, you, Cap for Life, you are a product of bad information because there's a lot of beat writers throwing out some bad information. So, if you want to follow, all you got to do is check out the track record. I always tell you guys that. Just check out the track record. That's all. Just look at what they say, what they report, and then look what happens in reality. And does reality follow what they say? And when does reality follow someone more than others? And then that's what should lead you, because that's the reason why you tune in every day, Cap for Life. You don't learn anything, but it's all here for you. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to learn, but I don't know. Something's stopping you. Let's see. Most of us listen to the same beat writers. It's funny how different they all see it. Yeah. Or wrong. Let's see. What is it? Focus on him ministry. Do you guys know that Tyreek and Waddle are small? You need an accurate quarterback, and Tua is accurate. Yes. Yes, sir. Wait, what about Brent Grimes? Yeah, that's an it's a good one, J-Town. How can you win without Brent Grimes, bro? Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. The great Alan Blanco. Right there. Right there. Make sure. Let me put this over here. Okay, there we go. So, this way. There you go. That's one of our new shirts. Not for the blind ass fan. We also have, by the way, these are the ones that I have in stock at the moment because we're getting more tomorrow. This is the 305 shirt in the Dolphin colors. There you go. What else? Oh, this is the other blind ass fan alert shirt. Right there. We got hats. Got Big O Show hats, Bitcoin hats, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you check it out. Our friends at 3A Graphics, they're designing it. They're printing it and all that embroidery and all that. Obviously, John Rigoni's designing it. And so check out 3A Graphics, man. If you need some custom printing and embroidery for your business, your company, your fantasy league, whatever it is, please reach out to Alan Blanco. Reach out to the people that support our platform, man. 786-618-1443. That's 786-618-1443. Last night, the Panthers defeated the Rangers 3-2 in overtime to tie it up at 2. Barkov had 2 assists. Bob had 21 saves. Bennett, Reinhardt, and Verhaeghe with the goals. They got game 5. And that'll be Panthers and Rangers Thursday, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Tonight, by the way, Stars and Oilers, 8:30 on TNT. Dallas leading 2-1 in that series. Also tonight, can't wait, 7:30, Inter Miami hosting Atlanta United. Messi is playing in tonight's game, so we'll see what happens. And then the T-Wolves last night, they survived, and they avoided elimination, 105-100. Dallas still dominating in this series 3-1. We'll see if they can make it happen. 3A Graphics, reach out to them, 786-618-1443. All right. What do we got going on? How we doing on the crypto side? Is Bitcoin making any kind of moves? No, kind of stuck at 67,600 right now. So it's one of those where we're still kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. What else? Jasmine has held strong over 2.5 cents. Waiting for the next push to go to 3. Maybe even more. We shall see. And remember, of course, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. All right, 1 hour down. We got hour number 2 coming up. Keith Pompey is going to join us in hour number 2. He, of course, covers the Sixers on a daily basis. He's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. So we will address his article that the Sixers are ready to make a move for Jimmy Butler. Let's see. When we come back, to start off hour number 2, I want to get into a little Miami Dolphins. I want to get into a little Tua talk because I think we need to explain something that's going on this offseason with Tua. So we'll do that. We'll get into a little basketball talk with Jimmy Butler leading into the Keith Pompey segment. I also want to show you where the media, the national media just post something to, for clickbait purposes. Back with hour number 2 of the Big O Radio Show right here on the 305 Sports Network.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take up to $10,000 off a 2024 Acura during our 16th anniversary sale.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There's a new sheriff in town at Toyota of Hollywood. Cash in your chips and get a great deal on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not 24,000, 17,975. Giddy up to the bank and get 2.99% financing on our most popular models. So mosey on down to our western town at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Right. It's hour number 2 of the program. Keith Pompey will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. We had some news yesterday about Sixers are ready to deal for Jimmy Butler. Possibly, if they can't make the move for Paul George. Keith Pompey wrote that story, and so we're going to have Keith Pompey on. You know, what I do on this show, I can talk, man, and I can talk all sports. I can talk about everything going on in sports and life and finances and crypto and music and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to have interviews just to have interviews and just to fill space. I can fill the space myself. I don't have to fill it with commercials. I don't have to do any of that stuff. I can come up with plenty of things to talk about and have some fun and get us by. But I don't have interviews just to have interviews. And by the way, I apologize because I probably did a little too much of that in the first couple of years with way too many Dolphin interviews. Way too many. You know what I'm saying? So it just gets redundant, and I'm kind of trying to avoid all that. And so I'm not going to have a basketball person just to have a basketball person on. We're going to have a basketball person because there's a story out there now. And so now that we hear an insider from the Sixers say the Sixers are ready to make a deal, is Riley ready to make a deal? So we'll talk to Keith Pompey on that in the bottom of the hour. By the way, let's also, I know I do this mostly later on in the show, but before I get to a little Dolphins talk, let me get into a little entertainment here. Let's start off with some musicians born on this date. Let's go with Mel B, Melanie Brown, Scary Spice from the Spice Girls. She was born on this date in 1975, clearly the hottest Spice Girl out of all of them. 1967, Noel Gallagher, one of the two idiots from Oasis. Noel was born on this date in 1967. Blaze Bayley, lead vocalist for Wolfsbane and for a short time for Iron Maiden when Bruce Dickinson left. Blaze was born on this date in 1963. David Palmer with the English pop band ABC, born in 1961. Mel Gaynor, drummer with the Scottish rock band Simple Minds. Not that he's no longer the drummer, because Sherry, oh God, I'm forgetting her last name, but she is the drummer now for Simple Minds. She's very good too. 1956, LaToya Jackson was born on this date. 1955, Mike Porcaro, bassist for Toto. We lost him back in 2015 to Lou Gehrig's disease. Let's see. Mars Williams, jazz and saxophonist for The Waitresses. What else? Francis Rossi, guitarist for Status Quo, was born on this date in 1949. Gary Brooker, English singer, songwriter, and founder of Procol Harum. The Wider Side of Pale. What else? That's about it for musicians born on this date. Let's go with regular birthdays today for other folks that may not be musicians. John F. Kennedy was born on this date in 1917. Obviously, tragically lost him in 1963. Carmelo Anthony is 40 years old today. Austin Reeves, Lakers, 26 years old. Cochise is a rapper. He's 26. I've never heard of him. The only reason I'm going to say Cochise, it's because one of the warriors from the movie was named Cochise. So that's why it reminded me. But I have no idea if Cochise is even a legit rapper or some small-time rapper from some, city or something. What else? Bob Hope was born in the state in 1903. Lost him in 2003. And that's about it. Sean, do we have any wrestlers that were born on this date, sir?
Yes, we do. We have Pete Gass from the Mean Street Posse back in the Attitude Era days.
Mm-hmm.
We have Spice. She was one of the Nitro Girls.
So the one Spice Girl, and now this. Okay, it's a
Spice of the Nitro Girls, yes. And then Brian Kendrick, the newly crowned queen of the ring, Nia Jax, and Hornswoggle, all celebrating birthdays today.
All right. Let's go with music history. On May 29th, on this date in 1965, the Beach Boys began a 2-week run on the singles charts with Help Me Rhonda. Help me Rhonda. Help me Rhonda. In 2003, Black Crowes guitarist Rich Robinson's new band, Hookah Brown, called it quits. A mere 6 months after their first show, Robinson said of the decision, sometimes life gets in the way of people being able to make music together. In 1969, Crosby, Stills, Nash released their self-titled album. In 1971, on this date, the Rolling Stones started a 2-week run on the number one on the singles charts with Brown Sugar, a song they won't do anymore. And by the way, they will not do Brown Sugar anymore. In 1991, just after completing recording their album Nevermind, Nirvana played a last-minute show at LA's Jabberjaw. Anyway, it's a cartoon, whatever. Okay. Among the crowd were Iggy Pop, as well as Dave Grohl's girlfriend, L7 bassist Jennifer Finch, who brought along her best friend, I don't even want to talk about her. In 99, skeletal remains were found by photographers looking for old car wrecks to shoot at the bottom of Decker's Canyon near Malibu, California. Forensic evidence would later prove the remains were former Iron Butterfly bassist Philip Kramer, who disappeared 4 years earlier. His death was ruled a probable suicide. Wow. In 2003, Stain topped the albums charts with 14 Shades of Grey. In 2001, the Eagles made their first ever visit to Russia, appearing at Moscow's SC Olminsky. And that's what happened today in music history. By the way, can I call out my favorite metal band of all time? I'm calling out Iron Maiden, and I'm calling out Bruce Dickinson, and I'm calling them out for all being full of shit and lazy. Bruce Dickinson, in an article, explained why he sometimes wonders if Iron Maiden pushes themselves hard enough. The singer said he faced recurring concerns with the band's limits its creativity to keep fans happy, and also discusses the solution. Iron Maiden fans are on another level, and it's a whole life term. I don't support a football team, but I look with the astonishment at how supporters react. I don't think there's a word for the level of commitment and devotion people have for a football club, and people have the same level of devotion to Iron Maiden. I am one of them. I've been a fan for 45 years. He described the mixed emotions, the results from his observations. Part of me says, wow, that's amazing. The artistic half of me worries that maybe we don't challenge ourselves artistically because we have this devoted following and they're happy with the way we are. Actually, I'm not. Actually, you lazy bastards, okay? You sing 15, 16 songs in every set for every tour now. Why don't we go to past 20? You have an enormous catalog. Bruce, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, Nico, Steve Harris. Okay? You guys have an amazing, amazing catalog. 15 songs. And by the way, you lazy bastards, okay? You do the same 15 songs every fucking night all over the world. The same one you do in Singapore is the same one you do in Cincinnati, and it's the same one you do in Paris. That's fucking lame, dude. Let's get over 20 songs. Let's start working a little bit more. Let's start mixing it up. You know, maybe you do a 20, 23, 24 song set list, but you know what? Learn about 40, 45 songs. I'm not going to ask you to be Pearl Jam. I'm not going to ask you to be Dave Matthews. I'm not going to ask you to be The Cure. Okay? You know, I appreciate that. I'm a huge Cure fan. I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan. And one of the things I love about fucking Pearl Jam, you know, I bought tickets to see Iron Maiden consecutive nights at the LA Forum, okay? Or consecutive nights if they had them here in the Sunrise. Usually they don't. It's only once. But I was in LA for the week, and I went out for many concerts, including Iron Maiden. And, you know, they played the same 15 songs both nights. Now, I go see U2, and they'll change up a song or two. I go see The Cure, and they'll change up half their set. I go see Pearl Jam, they'll change up 3/4 of their set. They learn more songs than, you know, you could go see Crowded House. And they will not play the same set the next night. They will mix a couple of songs in there. You know, they're not changing up. They're not going in the direction of Pearl Jam or The Cure that they're going to add a whole ton of songs. No, but they'll change up a couple. I mean, you know, make a fucking effort, Iron Maiden. Don't be lazy and program your show for 15 songs, and it's the same 15 songs because everything is programmed to come out at the same time for the same song. And I say, no, dude. You know, you don't push yourselves. You don't give us enough anymore. So there's a suggestion for Iron Maiden. okay, from a real Iron Maiden fan that loves the band, travels to see them. I see them locally. I see them anywhere else. I'll do anything. But I know what I'm getting to, unfortunately. And that's kind of lame, that part. And I go because I am dedicated, because I do love the band. I do love the music. But you guys make very little effort in concerts anymore. That I can tell you as a fan, that's the one thing that I will say. You're kind of an embarrassment in that sense. Okay? So I doubt it'll get to Iron Maiden. But the next time I see Nico, which I know Nico McBrain, I'm going to tell him, hey, Bruce talking about pushing himself. How about you guys push yourself more than 15 songs? How about you guys like change up the set list? Night in, night out, add a song or two different. And, by the way, just to tell bands out there, if you change up the set lists, you'll have a shot at selling more tickets. You know why? Fanatics like me will go to multiple concerts because we want to see different songs. Yeah. So that's kind of how it works. Let's see. Big O, did you do your band homework? You know what? I did not do my band homework. I did not. Big O, you're on point with the old fart analogy. I resemble that remark thanks to my son that referred me to your podcast. Yeah, but you don't resemble it because you made the effort to learn. The old fart, like the guy I talked to, ain't making the effort to learn. Meanwhile, he's probably standing around talking with his friend about adding Dalton Reisner. And he's still thinking that Justin Herbert was the guy that Flo wanted. But these are the people that are walking around misinformed. So actually, Ocala Joe, you should give yourself props, dude. Okay? Because you made the effort. Big O has a lot of Cali listeners. Yeah, we do actually. We do get a lot of Cali listeners. Yep. I love California. Love visiting California. I hate what they're doing to the damn state, but it's so fun to visit California. If we actually had real leadership, it by far, it's the best state in the country. Like by far, by miles and miles and miles. It's not now because it's a disaster, but God, if you tell me you go to California and you don't have fun, you don't know how to have fun. Because that's a place that you could do a lot of stuff, man. God, there's anything and everything in that state. It is really phenomenal. Question for you, will you have additional beat writers when training camp opens? Maybe one more. I'm not going back to the 4 or 5 beat writers. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, dude. No. I probably will add one more during the season. That's about it. I think 2 beat writers is more than enough. Not for nothing, but we break more stories than anybody else. So, not sure I really need to bring on a ton of people that aren't necessarily going to add more insight than I add. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind having 1 or 2 extra because it's good to have different opinions and different points of view. I love that part. But as for, are you bringing breaking news? Are you really adding how much? Are they all doing it? No, right? Right? Let's be honest now. Are all the beat writers breaking stories? No, they're not at all. So, it's not worth it. So it's just too much. It's redundancy. It's repeating the stuff over and over and over again. So I probably will not go back to it because I got bored of it the last couple of years, especially this last year. I got really bored of it in the last year, having too many and talking about the same shit. And it's just not enough. There's not enough variety coming from it. You know what I'm saying? So no, I will not. NorCal says, I agree. Mix up the playlist, but they're old as fuck. They can't do it. 20 plus songs. Would you
Let me see. Let me see something here a second. Now you said that, okay? Since you said that, I'm going to pull something up here a second, okay? Because I've been going to their concerts forever, and you could go back and look at their last few concerts. They're all 15 songs, okay? Where is this? Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. These are 19 songs that were done by the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones. They put out their set list in New York at MetLife Stadium. Start Me Up, Get Off My Cloud, Bitch, Angry, Heartbreaker, Wild Horses, Tumbling Dice, Whole Wide World, Can't Always Get What You Want, Tell Me Straight, Little TNA, Sympathy, Honky Tonk, Midnight Rambler, Give Me Shelter, Paint It Black, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Sweet Sound, Satisfaction. These guys are in their 80s. And they're doing 19 songs. 19 songs. The Rolling Stones. You're going to tell me that Iron Maiden can't do more than 15? You and I are going to disagree on that one. Okay? And they're in great shape. I've seen them. They're not old, and they don't look like Mike Reno from Loverboy. Okay? When you look at Mike Reno's fat ass on stage, you're like, yeah, he probably has energy for 4 songs because he's, wide as the stage, in fact. So, yeah, no. I disagree on that one. All right, let's get to it here. Ooh, man, he's already early. You know what? Keith, are you ready to go now since you're yeah? All right, he gave me the thumbs up here. He's set for 11:30, but he popped in now, and the beauty of digital, we do whatever the hell we want here on the platform. We run the show, baby. We do it all. So let's bring him on, Keith Pompey. Pompey on Sixers.
What's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing, my friend? You feeling good?
Yeah, I really love that U thing in the back you have.
The what?
The U, Miami. The University of Miami, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I got.
They used to be the team back in the day, huh?
I'm a South Florida guy. It's a South Florida show, so
I hear you.
Everything back there is South Florida, except for the Eiffel Tower. I got that when I went with the wife to Paris for our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh well, yeah, you got to get that. You have
so I bought it. I go, this will look badass in the studio.
Yeah, it does. It does. Oh, yeah, it does. And plus, the wife loves it too. Like that's representing us.
Right. Exactly. So, I can't, I'm going to lose every time. As you know, when you're married, you're going to lose every time. But every once in a while, you're going to hit one out of the park. And, and then that'll give her a smile every time she walks in here,
Exactly.
So I don't know if you gave Heat fans a smile, a smirk. Were they mad? I'm not sure because, it's interesting, Keith, because you talk about the Jimmy Butler move, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Heat fans are kind of torn. I'm the Heat fan that says time to move on.
Okay.
Because the run has been more than phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, 3 Eastern Conference Finals, 2 NBA Finals in 5 years under Jimmy. You couldn't ask for more. But the one thing why I'm the guy that says you need to move on, it's because Riley failed, unfortunately. And when he made this trade 5 years ago, I said this trade will only end up being, complete if you're able to trade for that other star.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I'm the guy, I love Bam, but I don't look at him as a franchise player, as a star, because to me in this league, not the 90s, not the 80s,
But in the 90s, he would be a star. But now that points are, 120, to me, stars in this league have to be able to impose their offensive will on people. And that's the one thing that has never happened for Bam. He's a terrific player, an all-around terrific player, but he will not take the ball and say, I'm going to score and I'm going to take over. It's not who he is. I don't know if it's such a nice DNA in him or whatever, but they never got that other dog next to Jimmy. And you're at a point now where he doesn't have much gas left in the tank. Sixers have that other stud. Actually, they have two of them in Embiid and Maxey, because Maxey has turned into what I don't think Bam is. Maxey can impose his offensive will on people and change the game. So for me, it makes a lot of sense. Miami, notice, Keith, every time they try to trade for somebody, they fail. Why? They have no capital. They have no capital. So you have a couple of young pieces. Make this trade if you can with the Sixers and go amass that capital so you can kind of reset the team and maybe build around Jovic and build around Jaquez and Bam and that kind of stuff. I think you need to go in another direction. Whereas if you're the Sixers, it makes sense for you to make this deal because this is kind of the guy you need. You need that last SOB to put you over the top. And they probably should have kept him over the last what's the name of the kid that they gave the money to instead?
Tobias,
Probably should have kept him over Tobias, and we might be talking about the Sixers already, winning a title already at this point. So that's where I'm at. There are Heat fans that say, "Oh no, hang on and try," but I'm the guy that says it's time to move on because Riley can't find that other star, and he doesn't have the ammunition to get that other star.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. It's funny because, after I wrote that story, there was a friend of mine who's a reporter in LA, and he was saying, I've been calling for this for a while. He feels like that, if they could work it out, he thinks the best thing for Miami would be a 3-team trade where they can get these assets, or they can give the assets to another team and probably get a guy like Donovan Mitchell, who's a younger player, you know what I mean, and would be happy to, like, who doesn't want to go to South Florida, right? But would be happy to go there, and then basically, I don't know if he has that. I mean, I know he's a tough-minded guy. I don't know if he has that DNA that Jimmy has, to that level. But at the same time, he's a younger guy, a wing, who can impose his will on teams and score, and will possibly be a great fit. But yeah, you're right, man. It's one of those things where I think people are going to be torn because of the years. But when you look at the Sixers, they are a desperate team, and they should have never traded Jimmy in the first place. And he's a guy who will get the utmost respect, and everybody loves him. So, yeah, it would be a great deal, a great trade for both teams. I think if Miami could get a player who they think that can step in and a younger guy.
And here's the part that I don't I know your story's correct, but I don't understand their thinking on this one.
Who, the Sixers?
The Sixers. And tell me if you agree or not. Paul George is your first option. I'm sorry, dude. I want a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And Jimmy is a son of a bitch. And
I didn't mean to cut you
Paul
off.
has not proven that to me yet. He hasn't proven it to me, whereas I've watched Jimmy take a bunch of role players, bro, to the NBA Finals, to the Eastern Conference Finals. There is no other star next to him. There are some good players, but no stars. I've never seen Paul George do anything like what Jimmy has done, not this year, but the prior 4 years to this. If I'm the Sixers, I don't give a shit about Paul George. I want Jimmy Butler if I'm the Sixers, because that's the DNA I'm missing. I'm missing that mofo. I'm missing that guy in that locker room that's really going to stir it up. And I that's the part I don't understand the thinking. Can you walk me through it?
Yeah, it's easy because when you look at Jimmy, you look at Jimmy, and a lot of it is predicated on what Pat Riley wants to do, right? So if Pat Riley wants to give him that money, the extension, then everything's good. But if he doesn't want to give him that money, he doesn't want to give him an extension, Pat Riley is the type of guy that's not really going to be swayed by how he thinks you feel right now, right? So it's one of those. But whereas Paul George is just a matter of, look, if they offered you 3 years X amount, right? But we're going to give you 4 years, $212 million, right? What do you want to do? So it's an easier path. You know what I mean? The thing with Jimmy is just that, let's face it, it's South Florida. Jimmy loves it in South Florida. How many dudes do you know from Texas who went to school in Milwaukee and lived in Minnesota and Chicago, and now all of a sudden it's like, y'all want me to go back to Philly where I got to pay taxes? So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It's a tougher get than where a Paul George is kind of like, you know what? All I got to do is just turn down this money. And next thing you know, the Sixers are going to pay me 4 years, $212 million. And
So
then when you look at it,
hometown stuff doesn't matter to Paul George anymore.
I mean, it does. And see, that's the thing. And there are people who are like, that's why I think the Sixers have so many options, because you don't know what's going to happen, right? Right now you have the Clippers who are saying, what about that hometown? What about the hometown discount? You're from Southern California. You come to Philadelphia. I'm a Philadelphian. We're rude, right? You come to Philly, they're going to be rude. If you guys are down 15 at halftime, they're going to boo you. They're going to tell you you're overpaid. They're not going to want you. They're going to tell you you suck, everything, right? So that's what the question is. People are saying, is he really willing to give that up to come to Philadelphia? I mean, I'm going to give you a prime example. There's a guy from Orlando on the team.
And by the way, I don't think he's cut from that cloth where.
Nah, he's not. It's tough, dude. I'm telling you. It's tough.
Yeah. Now,
it's tough.
Jimmy can take that. And
Jimmy can take it. Jimmy can. And see, the fact of the matter is that, Jimmy, all that grit, and you said the tough SOB and everything. Now, you got certain people saying, Jimmy's about to be 35, his injury history, the whole nine. Why are you going to do it? But while he was here, it was one of those things where they looked at the alpha dog. They looked at how he stepped up in the playoffs. They looked at how it got to a point where, people forget they moved Ben Simmons off the ball, and Ben Simmons was playing power forward in the playoffs because Jimmy was the better ball handler. He was more clutch. He was the point guard in the playoffs. So people look at that, and Jimmy is just a tough dude. But I'm going to just tell you how these fans are in Philly. There was a guy last year by the name of, he's still with the team, his name is Paul Reed. Yeah. So Paul Reed got a $23 million deal contract over 3 years from the Utah Jazz. They were pissed off at the organization if they you better match it, you better match it, you better match it. They matched it. Paul Reed, they loved him. They call him from the mud, B-ball Paul. He struggled in the playoffs. Everyone wants him out of Philly. They get him out of here. He sucks. He's trash. But a year ago, they were about to kill Daryl Morey for not if he didn't bring him back. So that's just how it is, and that's what people have to deal with. But Jimmy was the only one when he was here, and the Sixers sucked and they got booed. He was like, we deserved it. I'm surprised they weren't harder on us. So the people here love him. And that's the thing. But the only question is, some people are wondering, about to be 35, or do you want to invest all that money in that guy?
Yeah. And that's a legitimate one. And then here's the other thing that I can talk about and ask you. The Sixers also have to know that they've got some leverage in this because, while, they want Jimmy and they need him, but there isn't a line for Jimmy. There aren't going to be very few teams can take Jimmy's salary and Jimmy's character on.
Yeah.
he just does not fit in 95% of the organizations in the NBA. So the Sixers will practically have no competition for Jimmy Butler. So they're not really going to be competing pretty much with anyone for his services. So I wonder how that affects also, this situation, because that kind of gives them a little bit of leverage here.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I also think that they need to get this deal done. If they want to do it, they got to do it now. And the reason being is because, yes, you do have a lot of cap space. You do have stuff available, but you're about to give Maxey a max deal, right? So what's going to happen is Jimmy, he wants to get paid. So I don't see Jimmy saying, all right, well, I'm going to come here on a discount next year. So it's in everyone's best interest, in Jimmy's best interest, in the Sixers' best interest to get it done now. And here's another thing, like a guy who they also want to go with, they also want to bring back, is one of Jimmy's best friends. He has two of them on the team. Joel Embiid, of course, is one of his best friends. And the other one is Kyle Lowry, a guy who was there in Miami. Now, Kyle's not going to be the star, but he's going to be that veteran type of mentor guy for Tyrese Maxey. So if you have him and you got Jimmy and you have Joel, Jimmy's going to be in paradise. You know what I mean? Because he's back there. And I'll be honest with you, the Sixers realized that they made a drastic mistake by letting them go. It really wasn't for Tobias Harris, as everybody kept saying. What it was to a point. I think Jimmy's presence was intimidating to a lot of people. It also stunted the growth of Ben Simmons because Jimmy was the better guy with the ball in his hands, and it took stuff away. But Ben was younger. They wanted to give Ben that contract, so they gave it to him, and then they kept Tobias. But believe me, it was more to do with Ben Simmons than it was Tobias Harris.
Keith Pompey joining us, of course, who covers the Sixers on a daily basis. You can follow him on Twitter at Pompey on Sixers. So, Keith, if I ask you what happens here, but what do you? Because I believe that whatever Pat Riley said, he said just to say it in the press conference. I think they're willing to part ways now with Jimmy, and one of the things I think that they've been running into is that they don't have ammunition. And so, people are talking about Donovan Mitchell. Dude, you have no shot of trading for Donovan Mitchell right now because you don't have the ammo to get him. So you're going to need to kind of reset this whole thing. I think they're going to be willing to part ways with him. Question is, what do the Sixers want to do? Keith, you've been around them forever, man. Who ends up in Philadelphia? Because Morey is going to make a move. He's going to shake things up one way or another. So it's either Paul George or Butler or door number 3, which I have no idea what it would be.
I mean, you know what? I think a lot of it is great. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with, how does Jimmy respond within the next couple weeks, right? If he becomes a malcontent, and how does Pat Riley deal with it? Because I think that, they would love to have Jimmy Butler. He will fit in nicely. They know he will. But I think that, I hate to say it, it has to do with Pat Riley. Now, if they can get Cleveland involved, and if Cleveland wants those draft picks, for him, I think that would be perfect. But I think that the Sixers, they would love to have him, but a lot of things has to go right. You know what I mean? Now, more than I do on how Pat is. But I think that if Pat tries to be tough and act like he doesn't want to give them up, then it could be tough for them. And I think the Miami Heat could have problems next year. But if he wants to give them up, then I think that, I think Jimmy could catapult to be the one guy because he's already been in Philadelphia. They missed him. I mean, they miss him. They know that him and Joel gets along. They know that he gets the best out of Joel. He respects Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey respects him. And I feel like it would just be a perfect fit for him. Even though, now let's get it real. Like, they're going to have a lot of games where they got DMPs, though. I'm going to tell you that in the regular season. But then in the playoffs, I think that he brings that toughness that they want, and they're going to go hard. They just really are. But again, I think it's all up to Pat Riley, man. I really do. You know, I think it's up to him what he wants. But the Sixers, what they have they're going to, on draft night, they're going to have 5 first-round draft picks. They give and multiple pick swaps. They also have close to $65 million available in cap space, right? They don't have anyone on the roster that they want, but at the same time, you can get a third team involved, like we just stated, and then you can try to get what you want with that. Use those draft picks to get what you want.
All right, before I let you go, what was the watershed moment? What was the thing that made Maxey a monster?
You know what? It's crazy. The thing that really made him a monster, well, I mean, you kind of knew a couple years ago that he was going to be this guy when at COVID, and he had 30-something points against Denver at home. He was a rookie, and he had 30-something points. But I think the biggest thing that happened to him was when Jimmy Butler said he refused to – not Jimmy Butler, when James Harden said he refused to play. And then Maxey had to have the ball in his hands. And then all of a sudden, he was forced to be more aggressive. He was forced to look for his own shot and take a leadership role, and he just took off because no one expected him to be this good. Now, he did, but no one outside of him, not even the coaching staff, expected that. But what he did is he took off, and he had 30 points that first game against the Milwaukee Bucks. He was just abusing Dame Lillard. And that's when you were like, wow. And then it's funny because the next day or 2 days later is when they traded James Harden to the Clippers. Like they knew exactly what they had at that point.
That kid's an absolute dog. All right, you can catch Keith's work there at Philadelphia Inquirer. He's the Pro Hoops Writer VP. Follow him on Twitter at Pompey on Sixers. Keith, thank you for taking some time and joining us and dropping the knowledge, man. Should be a very interesting offseason for the Sixers and the Heat, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed being on the show, man.
Much love, my man. Appreciate you.
Peace.
You got it. There you go, Keith Pompey. Pompey on the Sixers. Oh, man. I am hoping that this trade happens. That's all I can tell you. I am hoping that this trade happens. It is time to make that move. What do we got here? Barry Jackson says, Wade stepped away from TNT Studios to pursue other things, but if he enjoys this and it goes well, NBC expected to get NBA package, could pair Wade, Mike Tirico, and one of the TNT analysts who would be available if Turner loses NBA. Tirico, Wade, and Stan Van Gundy would be a fun booth, says Barry Jackson. All right. What do you got?
Also, Woj reporting Caron Butler.
Oh, yes, extension.
Yes, signed back with the Heat.
4-year deal. Yep. I saw that prior to the Cho Ming. I saw that Caron Butler signed his extension, which is a beautiful thing. By the way, Toyota of Hollywood, a proud sponsor. We broadcast there the second Wednesday of every month. They've got over 2,000 cars in inventory, over 1,200 new cars. They've got 2.75% financing, 4 full years, 0 down. So go out there and check it out. They've got some great deals going on in some vehicles, so you can check it out also. College rebates, college grads, $500 off. Military rebates, $500 off for military personnel, retirees, and veterans. Go to a place where you are going to get a selection and a half. That's what they have at Toyota Hollywood. A selection and a half. 1841 North State Road 7. It's beautiful when you can look at 50 different Camrys, 50 different Forerunners. You know what I'm saying? It's just awesome when you're able to look at a whole bunch of cars and look at the color, the style, the model, the sports package, whatever style you want. You can do it there, of course, at Toyota of Hollywood. What else do we have here? Oh, let's get into a little Dolphins talk, by the way, before I get into anything else. First of all, what's it called? With Tua. So yesterday they had their first OTA, and one of the things that the team put out was a video of Tua hitting Taj Washington, in stride, right? And this is the video that they showed. Get out. So this is the one hitting Washington in stride. It's a 40-yarder. And you see Tua looking slimmer, right? And terrific delivery of the ball and all of that kind of stuff. And again, these are OTAs, so I don't put any weight on anything major on the OTAs football-wise. Okay, let's not get into anything crazy here. But I do want to explain what you're seeing in Tua and the professionalism that takes place with watching somebody that understands what they're doing and what they have to do and how they have to adjust. And, last year was about adding extra armor on his body, so he went thicker so he can take the punishment, right? And so this year he is slimming down, but he is also working on the weights and staying with the same kind of strength, because remember what we talked about 2 years ago on the show. The real problem with Tua was that he was hanging on to the football too long and he wasn't making quick decisions. So that's how you end up taking the punishment. So he took less punishment this year, not because of the bulk, because he got rid of the football faster. He made decisions quickly. Remember, as we have done here on the show, we do what others never do. We do our homework, and we gave you all his 5 major injuries came within 3.85 and 5.1 seconds. We have told you this over and over again. The hip injury, the 2 ankle injuries, and the 2 concussions were between 3.85 seconds and 5.1. In other words, 4 to 5 seconds. You cannot do that. You will not live. And I don't care if you add more bulk. So it really had nothing to do, because he didn't play the same way last year than he played the year before. So it had nothing to do with bulk. It had to do with getting rid of the football quicker. So then the other thing is, because you have the extra weight on you, okay, because you're trying to protect yourself, well, now you also will not be able to move around as quicker because, hey, man, I'm carrying 35 less pounds, right? I can move around a little faster now. I can get up faster. I don't get nearly as tired as quick because I'm carrying 35 less pounds, right? So in Tua's case, and you can see it in that throw, because the losing of the weight and the mass, right, allows you to have looser arms, looser legs, a looser body. So you're going to be able to move around quicker. You're going to have quicker twitch, and you're going to have a quicker delivery because your arm is carrying less weight. Your body's carrying less weight. You have less thickness running into each other. Everything slows you down. It's not just about the feet. So it's going to allow him to move his body quicker. It's going to allow him to deliver the ball quicker. It's going to allow him to move around a little quicker. It's going to allow him to be lighter on his feet. It's really about physical efficiency. He's always been smart. He plays smart. He plays at a high level. Okay, so now you go along with the game and you figure out what you've got to do. First couple of years was kind of tough because nobody was in your corner. Nobody was helping you. So it's hard. But now you're going into your 3rd year where you actually have support and guidance. And now you're able to adjust to everything that you need to do. You found out what you had to do after year 1. Now you find out what you have to do after year 2. And here you are in year 3. Now you're in the 3rd year of the same system. Now your body is completely healthy, right? You've adjusted to everything going on, game speed, all of that. And now you're tweaking some stuff so you can be a better player. And what I saw in that video is what I see is a more agile Tua. And to me, that is he ever going to be, running around like Lamar Jackson or something? No, dude. But he doesn't have to. You know what I'm saying? But you do need to have at least a little bit of footwork so you can buy yourself some extra time, which he has done in the past. It's, again, all of it is the same idiots that tell you, well, I want to see big moments. Oh, because he lost to Baltimore this year, but the last 2 years weren't big moments against Baltimore. I see. Right. So the Kansas City game in the playoffs, it wasn't good for him, right? But then the first Kansas City game, he did enough to win. But Tyreek's the one that lost the game. Oh, okay. So the last year, the year before against Detroit, down in the second half, that wasn't clutch. His second year, 4th and 7. Didn't he split the safeties for New England for the touchdown and the win? I mean, it's all like selective memory that you don't remember, and you think that he can't do this. He's done it plenty of times. And if you look at the film, he's also had moments where he's had to extend plays and made plays. But people make it like he can't do it at all, which it's not true. It's just kind of lies that people come up with. Oh, I want to see him in the clutch. He's been clutch for you. It's just the team wasn't clutch. What do you want him to do? Well, I want him to win big games. Dude, the Dolphins haven't been winning big games for 45 years. Yes, under Marino too. Rarely won big games, rarely went deep into the playoffs. It's just kind of the way it is. And when it did happen, you came up short because your team wasn't good enough. And that's usually what's been going on with the Dolphins. Your team's not good enough. It's not that he's not good enough. He's more than good enough. How can you be in the MVP conversation the last 2 years and you're not good enough? I mean, it's just, people just make shit up to make shit up and create some kind of drama where there isn't. Oh, he'll never stay healthy. Bullshit, dude. He has to learn how to play the right way, not hang on to the football and be hero ball all the time. That's it. But what he's doing now is absolutely on point, dude. On point. I love that he adjusts to what is going on. And so now he's looking to have a little bit more mobility back there because he doesn't need to run, like Jalen Hurts. He just needs to buy himself that extra half a second because he's better than most at reading defenses, anticipating windows, getting the ball to people. He's elite at that. So if he buys himself that extra half a second, millisecond, it makes him so much more superior compared to other quarterbacks who will not be able to read or anticipate like he does. So when you watch that film, you're watching a guy that is doing all the right things to become a better player. Very impressive. Very impressive. Let's see. He got the ball out quicker to Tyreek 85% of the time. He was determining where he was going pre-snap. That was the head coach's answer to keeping Tua healthy. McDaniel is the shit. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Let's see. Michael, if you had to choose one of the Dolphins beat writers to bring back, your vote is Marcel. Marcel's a good dude. Definitely. Brett, even with his improvements, Tua still needs better and faster play calling from McDaniel. Yeah, no, of course. And the O-line has to play well, and it's still a team game. Definitely. No doubt about that. Big O, they just opened Doral Twin Peaks. There you go. I love it. Good place. Let's see. Big O, do you think we'll have a fourth straight overtime in the Panthers-Rangers series? God, I hope not. I really hope not, dude. I hope they can finish them off a lot faster. That would be really, really nice if they're able to do that, dude. That would be really good. Okay. Let's do something. You know, we like figuring out who is our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night. And last night, the Panthers picked up the overtime win against the Rangers, 3-2, to tie the series in a must-win situation. And somebody gets the Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Well, listen, I know that the Rangers goaltender has been absolutely awesome. You got to give him much props, but Bob's been pretty damn good. And yesterday, Bob had 21 saves, had some pretty big saves at certain moments. And I got to give him some love. I'm going to give him my Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night. I could go with Barkov and 2 assists. Obviously, I could go with the guys that scored the goals, including the game winner. But, you know, Bob has been really steady. And it hasn't been easy for Bob, because you're facing great teams and you're facing incredibly hot goalies on the other side. Because both Boston and now the Rangers, their goalies are playing out of their freaking minds. But, you know, Bob at the same time has to live up to the same kind of pressure. And last night, you end up in another overtime game where he's been the GOAT in the last 2 overtimes, where he gives up the goal in the overtime and they end up picking up the victories. Last night, it's 3 in a row. That's got to mess with you mentally. And for Bob to be a stud and survive also the third period, the third overtime, that's pretty cool, man. So it's not easy to stay in the game physically and mentally, and you have so many ups and downs. It's really hard for anybody to kind of get tripped up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But Sergei Bobrovsky has stayed focused and has done an excellent job last night. 21 saves, just like William Quigley and company. He is our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
We're going to be at Hialeah Park. And by the way, remember, we've got our $100 no regret first bet. And starting in June, they're going to give away $50,000 in cash. So get on down there and play the loosest slots in the state of Florida. Okay, that is documented by the state, not by Hialeah, not by anybody else. The state does it, which they have no skin in the game, as they say. You know, because others will tell you, well, we are the loosest slots in Miami. We're the loosest slots in Clearwater. We're the loosest slots in Central Florida or South Florida. Or whatever. No. See, Hialeah tells you they're the loosest slots in the state. There's no caveat, nothing to try to have a technicality in there. And as you play the slots, you get entries in to win the $50,000. So June 1st, it starts. Make sure you take advantage, and the QR code is right there right now. If you want to get your $100 no regret first bet, use that QR code, open up your account. Remember, if you already have a Hard Rock account, don't use the same phone number or email. Use a different phone number or email so you could get your $100 no regret first bet. Make your bet, get your $100, and you're off and running. We'll see you tomorrow at Hialeah Park at 3 o'clock. PayPal, by the way, has launched a stable coin on Solana. And Gary Gensler and the SEC lost another case yesterday to crypto. Man, that guy loses cases like crazy. Where is Bitcoin right now? Let's see, where are we at? 67,300. So we are flopping around here right now in the 67 range. 2025 NFL Draft will be in Green Bay, April 24 through 26. It was also announced that Pittsburgh will be the host for the 2026 NFL Draft. So next year, Green Bay, the year after, Pittsburgh. Not for nothing, but not necessarily the sexiest cities in the world. And I don't mind going to a game in Green Bay, but that's during the season. In the off season, what the hell are you going to do there? Weird. Really weird. Really, really weird. But what are you going to do? Heat fans. Let's talk before I get to a football note that's really funny. Heat fans, let's talk about the Jimmy Butler situation. You know, we had Keith Pompey on, and now that the rumors are out there, and we'll see. And I think it's time to make the move. It's time to part ways with Jimmy Butler. This is an opportunity. This is probably the only opportunity they will ever have to trade Jimmy and get a bunch of draft capital, something they desperately need to kind of retool this team. Okay? You're not going to end up getting Donovan Mitchell to go with Jimmy Butler. That you don't have the trade capital. So you could forget about that. And I think that Donovan Mitchell is going to end up staying in Cleveland. I really kind of get that feeling that he's going to like it there and stay there and sign the contract and all that good stuff. But it is time. And I get it that it's been a great run. Jimmy's been fantastic here, but the risk is not worth it anymore. His body is breaking down. He can no longer go all out in the regular season because his body will break down. He knows it. He's going to want to force this trade. Now, it may not be in an ugly fashion, but behind the scenes, he's going to want an extension. Miami's not going to give him that extension. And he's going to have to play hard next year during the regular season and prove to the Heat that he's willing to play hard in the regular season, which will risk injury. And that's the only way he's going to get an extension in 2025, because they're not going to extend them now. But the Sixers are desperate enough. They have the pieces right now to win a championship. So they have to trade for Jimmy. You know, whatever. If they want to trade for Paul George, whatever. But they have to trade for Jimmy if they really want to win a title. And then they have to hope that Jimmy can stay somewhat healthy in the regular season and in the postseason to help him out. We'll see. That's a whole different ballgame. But if I'm the Heat, I don't want to take any more chances with a declining Jimmy Butler. It is time to move on and gain all that draft capital that you can get for trading Jimmy Butler. And maybe that's what's going to catapult you to getting back to being a great team, is having that draft capital. I'm just saying, to me, if I'm a Heat fan, I am grateful for what's happened in the last 25 plus years with Pat Riley. I'm super grateful for the 5 years of Jimmy Butler, but I'm also looking at it realistically. The gravy train is over. It is time to get off the gravy train. So this is you want clickbait stuff. This is great clickbait stuff. So the Pro Football Network, and I'm sure they do a half decent job, they put out a story yesterday that they named Lamar Jackson the best quarterback in the division. A division with Joe Burrow. And I know Joe Burrow's been injury prone, but let me remind you, Lamar Jackson's also injury prone too. Okay. And Lamar Jackson is 2-4 in the playoffs. Are you listening to me? He's 2-4. Okay. He has thrown 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and his completion percentage is 57%. Joe Burrow is not 2-4. his record in the playoffs. His record in the playoffs is 5-2. Not 2-4, 5-2. He has thrown 9 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Not 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. No. 9 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. And Joe Burrow's completion percentage is 67%, not 57%. Oh, and Joe Burrow has a Super Bowl appearance. I don't know how your publication can call itself a legitimate publication, okay? When you're telling me Lamar Jackson is better than Joe Burrow. And in no planet, no decade, in no anywhere with logic, does Lamar Jackson even belong in the same sentence with Joe Burrow? This love affair. By the way, the former listener of mine that I saw yesterday on Twitter, he also put Lamar. He said Tua's got to be like Lamar Jackson. You know, he threw Mahomes and somebody else in there. They were legitimate quarterbacks he threw in there, except for Lamar. So I turned the tables on him and I said, well, dude, Tua's only been to the playoffs one time. We can't measure him, you know. Now, if he goes to the playoffs and he's 2-4, you know, and he throws 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and he's mediocre, then we can, you know, say not much, right? And he answers back, well, you know, I just want him to win. And I said, hey, by the way, those are Lamar Jackson's numbers, since you were praising his ass. I love people that talk about Lamar Jackson, the guy that pees in his pants in the playoffs. Like, did you watch the stupid ass interception that ended his season? Because that was a stupid ass interception. That was a panic ass interception he threw there. Oh, you know why? Because you forced him to pass. That's because he's not a passer. But you guys go ahead and be in love with the running game of Lamar Jackson. Pro Football Network thinks Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. This is the shit that's out there. Right there. But then again, doesn't the Pro Football Network employ Adam Beasley, who said to go get Ryan Tannehill as the backup quarterback? Interesting website, interesting employees, interesting takes, but you know what? Those are the takes that pays in this business. The takes that make no sense, that lack all intelligence, that are just dumb, crazy, wild. The crazier the take you have, the better it is in this business. If you're saying shit that actually makes sense, that doesn't fly in this business. You know what flies in this business? Stupid shit like telling people that Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback than Joe Burrow. Holy shit. Are you seriously telling that to people? That's crazy. Let's see. What else do we have? Joe Burrow. Shit. Anyone who tells me Lamar Jackson's better than Burrow, yeah. What are you going to do? So RIP Bill Walton. Yes. Yeah, we got into that a little bit yesterday. Let's see. Pittsburgh is a fun city. Big O. Come into town for the draft and we'll meet up. I've been to Pittsburgh, bro. It's it's a blue collar Iron City beer town. I don't know. I don't know if I could call Pittsburgh a fun town, bro. Brother, when you come from South Florida, Pittsburgh don't come close to South Florida, my man. You know, I'm just saying. I've been to Pittsburgh. What I haven't been to is the Steelers game. I haven't been to a game at Three Rivers, and then obviously now at Heinz Field. I never went to a Pittsburgh stadium for a game, but I've been to Pittsburgh a couple times with my dad back in the day. Now, I was really, really young, so I can't say that I went out as an adult. But yeah, I can't say I was really impressed with Pittsburgh. But you never know, I guess. What else? You can trade Jimmy after his cameo in the new Bad Boys movie. I would trade Jimmy yesterday, and hopefully he'll be in 10 Bad Boys movies for his sake. And again, Chris Wilson Fishing, thank you for the super chat, because I don't know if I mentioned it. I do have to do my homework. I did not do my homework over the weekend, my band's homework. I definitely need to do that. What else do we have going on? You guys got any questions? Any comments? Anything going on before we go? I don't see anything earth-shattering in the news either, or any kind of crazy takes. Bronny will stay in the draft. Don't really care. Tyronn Lue agrees to an extension with the Clippers. Nothing. Oh, by the way, it says Cat busts out of slump. And I saw Ant-Man yesterday, credit Karl Anthony Towns for winning yesterday. And I would second that, because the reason why you're down 3-1 more than anything else is that Karl Anthony Towns has been a freaking choker up until last night. For the big dude, like Ant, I kind of expect him to have some struggles here, because this is the biggest stage he's ever been. He's a kid. You're putting the weight of the world on him. It's a tough situation for him, and he's shined in much of it, but he's also had some struggles. But I'm all right with that, because he's a young and he hasn't been here a lot of times. This is his first time in this kind of a situation. Karl Anthony Towns, brother, you have no excuses. I'm tired of watching your soft ass fold on a consistent basis throughout your entire career. This is who you've been. This is why Jimmy labeled you this. And last night, you stepped up finally, dude. 25 points and 5 rebounds, 4 or 5 shooting from three-point range. That's the main reason why you're down 3-1. I'm not blaming anything on Ant-Man. That poor kid is busting his ass off. He is fearless. He may have a bad game, but it isn't because he's gone small. For me, Karl Anthony Towns in the first 3 games was small. That would be, if I was a Wolves fan, and if I was a guy on the radio or doing a show for Wolves fans, brother, Karl Anthony Towns, I would have ripped him, every single game. And finally, yesterday, he showed up. There's no way they have a shot if Karl Anthony Towns does not come to play the game, man. He's got to ball out. To put everything on Ant-Man at this age, at this moment, for the first time that he's been there, it's absolutely unfair on Karl Anthony's part. In fact, he needs to take it upon himself to alleviate that responsibility and that load from him. And he has done a piss poor job of it. I forgot. I wanted to talk a little bit about that yesterday, and I didn't get into it. And then last night they played, and Cat finally played well. And I want to get into that because Cat has been the fucking dog in this shit. Okay? He's the reason why you're down 3-1. And he's the reason why you're only down now 3-1. Or you are down 3-1. So hopefully he wakes up and starts playing ball. I mean, it's hard to get out of this hole at 3-0. It's pretty much impossible. But, man, Jesus Christ, dude. Big O, would the Heat get much for Jimmy at this point? Yeah, you'll get it from the Sixers. Yeah, they will. Definitely. You'll get at least 3 first-rounders from him for sure. And you get rid of that salary, which is really, really cool. Burrow had Chase, Higgins, and a great running back. Lamar, not as good talent, just saying. Lamar had a terrific talent, bro. Zay Jones is a terrific receiver. They added Odell Beckham. The Bateman kid is like your 4th option. They have Mark Andrews, and the likely kid, after Andrews went out, they found themselves another tight end, way better than anything we have here. And then their offensive line was healthy. And their defense was healthy. Not exactly sure what the fuck you're talking about, Frankie. Not sure what you're talking about, dude. More than enough weapons to win. More than enough. Because he's inaccurate, that's his problem and your problem. But I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about. His team was relatively healthy. Something we can't say down here when 2/3 of your offensive line was dog shit. All your linebackers are gone. All your pass rushers were gone. X is a shell of himself. Well, Holland is running around with two knees that are absolutely toast. By the way, Mostert and Achane were banged up at the end of the year. I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. So, not sure. And not everybody has Chase and Higgins, but he had more than enough weapons. So, I don't know. Look at the guy that won the title. He only has a tight end, and then Rashee Rice. So Lamar had a ton more. A ton more. Let's see. They all had three all-pro linemen last year on the Ravens. Bro, please, give me a break. Anybody that makes excuses for Lamar Jackson is embarrassing, dude. It's an embarrassment to make an excuse for Lamar Jackson. What does the interception to end his season last year have anything to do with anybody except his brain farts? Nothing. Had nothing to do with time, had nothing to do with anything. It had to do with him being a mediocre passer, like he's always been a mediocre passer. But, it is what it is. So, why are you bringing up the Dolphins in comparison? I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, do you want a legitimate excuse, Frankie? The Dolphins are a legitimate excuse. Lamar Jackson has no excuses. That's the point. Lamar Jackson didn't have his entire offensive line pretty much injured. He didn't have all his linebackers out. He didn't have his 2 running backs banged up. Didn't have that, actually. He didn't have his entire linebacking core out. And these are things that happen to the Dolphins. Those are excuses, legitimate ones. Lamar Jackson was in the AFC Championship game and choked like a fucking dog, my man. By the way, like he always does in the playoffs. Loaded team or not. Frankie, nothing's changed with Lamar Jackson. He's been in the playoffs a whole bunch of times. Choke. Okay? Lamar Jackson chokes more than Debbie doing Dallas. I don't like Lamar Jackson, the quarterback. Yeah, you're right. You figured that out now? By the way, I don't like Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback, either. Oh, by the way, I don't like Justin Herbert, the quarterback, either. I'm pretty consistent. I think I kind of tell you when I think somebody can't play the game and can't do it right. I think Justin is a choker. I think Lamar Jackson's a mediocre passer. I think Ryan Tannehill is a mediocre passer. You breaking news, Frankie? I don't know. Where's the news? You figured out now that I don't like Lamar Jackson, the quarterback? Yeah, you're damn right I don't like him. I wouldn't want him on my team if you gave him to me. Yeah. It's pretty obvious, dude. Yeah. I didn't like Ryan Tannehill from the second they drafted him. Just like I didn't like Lamar Jackson from the second they drafted him. I'm pretty fucking consistent. Remember, I'm the one that remembers what I say, Frankie. You don't. You didn't catch that there, Sean. A couple weeks ago when he thought I said something, he went and back to find the video, and he found the video that I did say what I said. Not what he said I said. So, anyway, all I'm saying is this Samoan sniper is coming for the MVP, and he'll lead us to a Super Bowl. Health is wealth, baby. And we stay healthy, we can do this. Yeah. But damn, dude. What'd you get right? That I wanted something else, but not the main point. The main point was don't pull a Trump here and try to, circumvent the conversation. What you accused me of, you were wrong. Pretty simple. What you said I said, you were wrong. Okay? All right? You said I liked Justin Herbert. And I never liked Justin Herbert. That was the conversation. That's where it began, and that's where it ended. Period. You said I like Justin Herbert. I never liked Justin Herbert. I was never a Justin Herbert fan. Didn't buy him at Oregon. I was pretty consistent. I'm super consistent, dude. Super consistent. I didn't like Ryan Tannehill but I had way more information on the Ryan Tannehill thing, as I've told you all out there. So anyway. I said you said you were okay. I wasn't okay with Justin or anything. Never okay with Justin. I was okay with Tua as a player, afraid of his injury history, terrified. Justin has great hair. That is cap for life. You actually get something right once. That's, what is it? It's the 29th of May. You've reached your quota for the year already there, Cap for Life. You got your one thing right. That's about it. Justin Herbert does have great locks. I will give him that. That I can't take away from Justin Herbert. He definitely has great hair. Take it from a guy that has some hair left at 57, almost 58. Boy, I got 58 right around the corner, man. October 1st. I'm what? June, July, August, September. 4 months away. I'm 4 months away from 58, man. That is just absolutely terrible. What do we got here? Don Reisner was a 4-year starter in Denver, some of which coached by Butch Berry. And when he got his rookie contract, he had no market interest. He signed for peanuts in Minnesota, started yet again, but still has no interest. There's clearly a problem there. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, if you listen to the show, those of you, I see this stuff that's written in social media. And it's like, yeah, dude, like we've been trying to tell you for a while that they don't like him there, that they have no interest in him whatsoever. But, whatever, it's, it's like people thinking that X can still play. And it's like, he's still out in free agency. Nobody wants him. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody tells you that Kendall Fuller isn't an upgrade, so the guy they signed to replace the other guy's still out there on the street with, will work for food sign. And, it's kind of like, X. Anyway. Let's see. Send a shout out to my one and only grandson, Miles. He's 7 today. Miles, happy birthday, baby. Lucky 7. There you go. And remember, okay, you got to ask my man Joe here for, a new PlayStation or something. You know what I'm saying? You got to milk this for your 7th birthday, okay? So make sure you get a good gift out of this. All right. Happy birthday, and negotiate yourself a really nice gift. Okay. There you go, Calijo. We'll send out the birthday wishes, but we're going to get you fiscally in trouble. Let's see. Azukama gives us a different type of wide receiver, big dude with great yak potential. That's right. That's right. The only bad luck the Ravens have had with injuries is the running back position. Otherwise, they've had, yes, you're right. Exactly. They've lost a bunch of running backs over the years. Yep. That's the last 2 or 3, I want to say maybe 3 years now. They've constantly had running back injuries. Now, I will give them credit. They will sign like 3 or 4 backs, so they'll have several. But yeah, you're right. They have had, and then they do a really good job of, they had that kid that they drafted in the 5th round last year. I forgot his name, but he was kicking ass for like half a year or something, and then he got injured. That kid was fantastic. Let me see if I can find the kid's name last year. What a shame, because he was playing really, really well last year. And he ends up getting injured, which, again, a great job of their front office being able to identify talent that fits their scheme and that is productive, overall. Jesus Christ, what is this? It's all this crap, dude. Damn, dude, they got like all this here. Putting all this I hate this. Now they've got like a bunch of these it's these pop-ups, and I can't get rid of them. So I can't even get to the damn what's it called?
Was it Rasheen Ali?
No.
Oh, wait, no, that's 2020. I'm sorry, I put 2023 and they gave me 2024.
I don't get this, why Our Lads is doing this shit now, where it has all these pop-ups now. Bet somebody put it already. I don't know.
Keaton Mitchell?
That's him.
He's actually a 2023 undrafted rookie.
He's undrafted, Keaton Mitchell?
It says
wow,
the 2023 undrafted rookie earned a spot on the initial 53-man roster after standing out in training camp and the preseason.
My bad. I don't know why I thought he was a 5th rounder. How about that? Did not know that. I don't know why it stuck to me that the Keaton Mitchell kid was a 5th rounder. He was kicking ass last year, dude. I mean, absolutely kicking ass. I felt bad for him. And he was killing it, man. Yeah, Keaton Mitchell. I did not know that. Had no idea that he wasn't a 5th round pick. I don't know why that was stuck to my head that he was a 5th round pick. Last year, the kid had 47 carries, 396 yards for 8.4 yards per carry. Are you hearing me? The guy had 8.4 yards per carry on 47 carries, scored a couple of touchdowns. Receiving, he had 9 receptions, 93 yards, 10.3 average. He was a terror. Where'd he go? East Carolina. He's a Pirate. No wonder he's a terror. Pirates are terrors. So that's what it is. Can't trust a Pirate. Shiver me timbers. What's wrong with you people? Hit that like button, by the way. Ron Torchia. Lamar can scramble, but as a pure passer, I'm taking Tua. Yeah, it's not. I'll take Tua blindfolded over the guy. Well, Lamar can't play in this offense. You can't swap them, true Fin fan. Because you have to play Lamar's offense. He can't play in a passing off. They tried that last year. They tried to make him more of a passer. Guess what they're doing now? They're going back to the running game. He's losing weight. They're going to focus more on the run game, all that stuff, because he's a guy that, it's a remedial passing game. Use your tight ends and the receivers occasionally. You're not accurate enough to hit your right wide receivers. I wish you guys would watch the games. You would have seen how many times he missed Odell Beckham. So, Anyway, Stephen Harris says, good afternoon, Big O and Sean. Just clocked out of break from sweating balls for hours. Yeah, that's not really good. Big O, rank the Miami sports stadiums. I think Hard Rock Stadium and the arena now just me. I don't know. I don't know how you can rank them. I don't know how you can do that, bro. You know what I mean? Because it's different sports for different things. You know what I'm saying? The best, I'll tell you this. The Panthers arena is the best arena / stadium in town, period. End of story. Do you know why? Because it's not only a great arena, but the parking and how you ingress and egress, the traffic in and out, it's the smoothest out of all of them. It's the best built one. It's the one that's actually thought out more than any other one. Getting out of the Miami heat is a pain in the ass, even though it's a great arena. Getting out of the stadium, Hard Rock, is a pain in the ass, even though it's a great stadium. It's never a problem leaving a Marlins game because there's 5,000 people there. So, but if you actually had like real events, it would be a pain in the ass to get out of there. So if you want me to rank it, they're all great to go and enjoy. But there's only one that actually was well built and well thought out of in everything, and I would have to say it's Amerant Bank Arena. So we will go with that, my friend. Amerant Bank Arena is number one, and there is no number two. I don't even care about all the other ones. All the other ones have all those other issues. Amerant Bank Arena is the best place for a concert or a sporting event. The most comfortable and the easiest to get in and out of. So, I don't know. I would have to say that. Outside of, this one's closer to my house. So, I'm going to go with the baseball stadium. I'm going to go with the Heat Arena because I live across from it. Outside of somebody like that. But Amerant Bank's got it all, man. Number one. Okay. Frankie says, Big O is right. The Panthers arena is the best built arena. Just is. Best part for the Panthers arena is if you want parking, you could just park across at Sawgrass. Well. Don't know if you've heard, but they're putting a fence all around the arena, and they're making it way harder for you to park across and walk across, because now they're making it where you got to walk closer to some entrance of the fence where they drive in or something, because you will not be able to walk right into gate 4 like you used to, right up the middle of the arena and all that. They've fenced all that out. blocked it all out. You can't go in. So they're doing it because they're trying to lock more people into the parking lot so they pay. But I heard that that's an issue here in these playoffs. I don't know. Somebody please correct us here on that. But I'm hearing that it's becoming an issue in these last couple of playoff games, that parking is getting much more difficult. They're making it more difficult for people to park across. So, anyway, Miami Speedway comes second. Damn. All the way down in Homestead? Wow. Yep, and they're towing cars by the Target. Well, I don't know, Cap for Life. I don't know. I sorry, bro. You're very, when it comes to information, I'm not sure I can take information from you. I would have to hear it from somebody a little bit more, what I think might be legitimate. But yeah, if Alex says, yeah, I noticed that at Journey you got to walk in. Oh, there you go. So they were doing it for the concert too, because George Richards, and I can trust George Richards, he tweeted out that apparently they fenced out most of it, and they're making it a lot harder for the people to walk from the mall to the arena. So I'm not sure exactly, because I have not done it myself, so I don't want to misinform you on that, but there's something going on with that. And I got to tell you, I rarely park in the arena. I always park pretty much at the mall and cross the street. For concerts, for games, for everything, I usually park in the mall. Yeah. So, Cap for Life says, I'll confirm my source. It's true. I used to live on Sunrise. Yeah, Cap for Life, but it's you. So it's the problem. It's, there's not a lot of credibility there. So I have to wait. Frankie Fresco calling someone a racist. Laughable. Who was he calling a racist? My cousin used to live in that neighborhood next to the arena, used to park there and walk to the arena and tailgate for games and concerts. Okay. All right. What else? Well, that's it. Looks like we are done for the day. We appreciate all out there as always. We thank Keith Pompey. If you missed our interview on the Sixers beat writer who wrote a story yesterday that the Sixers are ready to make a deal for either Paul George or Jimmy Butler and give him an extension. We talked to Keith Pompey about that. Philly Inquirer. So check it out. Also, David Furones gave us his recap of yesterday's training camp, OTAs for the Dolphins. He'll be there for the next 2 days, and we'll talk to him on Friday, and we'll get a recap of the OTAs with David Furones. We will see you guys tomorrow, 3 o'clock. We'll be at Hialeah Park. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.
This is the Big O Show.